Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. The studio lights had barely warmed when Kelly walked onto the set that morning, her smile practiced, familiar, and just a touch too careful. To the audience, she looked like she always did, bright, energetic, unshakable. But those who knew her well noticed the pause before she sat down, the way her fingers tightened around her mug as if it were an anchor. "Before we start," she said softly, glancing toward the camera, "there's something I want to share." The room shifted. Even Mark, seated beside her, looked surprised. Kelly took a breath. It wasn't the kind she used before a joke or a story about the kids. This breath was heavier, edged with the kind of honesty that doesn't ask for permission. "A few weeks ago," she began, "we had one of those moments that reminds you how fragile everything really is." She didn't dramatize it. She didn't name symptoms or doctors or dates. She didn't need to. Her voice did the work for her, steady but thin, like glass stretched too far. Mark reached for her hand, and she squeezed back. "I've spent years talking for a living," Kelly said with a small, almost apologetic smile. "But when I realized something wasn't right with him, I couldn't find a single word." The audience was silent now. Even the cameras seemed to hum more quietly. She talked about the waiting, not the dramatic kind shown in movies, but the quiet, unbearable waiting, the minutes that stretch, the thoughts you can't stop, the way your mind insists on visiting every worst-case scenario even when you beg it not to. "I kept thinking," she admitted, "this is the man who has been next to me for decades, the man who knows how I take my coffee without asking, the man who can tell I'm upset just by how I close a door." Her eyes shimmered, but she didn't cry, not yet. Mark tried to lighten the moment with a gentle joke, but Kelly shook her head, smiling at him with a tenderness that felt almost private. "No," she said, "let me say this." She turned back to the camera. "We spend so much time worrying about schedules, ratings, emails, things that feel urgent in the moment, and then something like this happens and all of it just falls away." She confessed that for the first time in years, she canceled things without guilt. She ignored her phone. She sat next to Mark in silence, listening to his breathing, memorizing the rise and fall of his chest like it was a language she might one day forget. "I realized," she quietly said, "that love isn't just the big gestures. It's being terrified and staying anyway. It's holding someone's hand even when you don't know what comes next." Mark squeezed her hand again, his eyes glossy now. He spoke briefly, reassuring everyone that he was recovering, that things were improving, but it was Kelly's voice that lingered. "I didn't want to share this for sympathy," she explained. "I wanted to share it because I know someone watching is in that waiting place right now. And I want you to know you're not weak for being scared. You're human." That's when the tears came. Not sobs, just a few quiet tears that slipped down despite her efforts to stay composed. The audience followed her there, many wiping their own eyes. "When I looked at him," she finished, her voice barely above a whisper, "I didn't see a co-host or a husband or a strong guy who always has it together. I saw the love of my life, and I realized how lucky I am to still be able to say that." The show eventually moved on. Jokes were made, laughter returned, but something had shifted. Later that day, fans flooded social media, not with gossip, not with speculation, but with gratitude. Gratitude for her honesty, gratitude for the reminder that even the people who seem invincible are holding on just like everyone else. And somewhere between the lights and the applause, Kelly and Mark sat a little closer than usual, knowing that sometimes the scariest moments are also the ones that teach us exactly what matters most.